Hello again, Louise Singleton here. Last time, if you watched my video on making these lovely lavender cards, you will have seen the discovery that you can cut your resin. If you've moulded your resin in a silicone mould, you can cut it before it's fully cured, and I wanted to explore that a little bit more. So today I'm just going to show you a really quick video of how easy it is to cut the resin with a knife and a ruler. Oh, and the really good thing is I'll show you the mould. The great thing about using these moulds is if there's something you haven't practiced before, like for instance the resin I used today was, I was experimenting with the swipe technique, and although it didn't work as I wanted it to work, it didn't matter because you can cut it up and make card fronts out of it, and you don't have to use it as a whole picture, which is really good, and you're not wasting a canvas. If you're pouring it into one of these, you don't have to do all the masking and everything. So I love this. It's a great way for experimenting, and then if it turns out rubbish, it doesn't matter because you can probably still use it. The rubbish ones, if you cut them up, all the little best bits, you can make card fronts out of them, just like this one. So yeah, that's what you're going to be learning today, how to cut resin. Easy peasy. I did have a senior moment and forgot to switch on my main video camera, so you're getting the video with my close-up camera, but you can still see what to do. Okay, enjoy. So here you can see it's still bendy because it isn't fully cured yet, and I'm just about to demold it. It comes out really easy once you've just got it started, it just peels off. I've turned it upside down to do that bit. Really you should do the whole process with it upside down to protect your nice surface, but I wanted to be able to see which bits to cut out, and I couldn't see the detail from the other side, so I did turn it the right way around. Here you can see I've got the ruler at an angle, and the idea of that is so that you're not laying your ruler down onto your uncured resin, because I didn't want to leave any marks, but I did end up just putting the ruler down flat and it didn't actually leave marks, which was good. I'm just trimming off the edges here because it rises up at the edges of the mould, and plus one of the corners had turned out much thinner than the rest, so I trimmed that off as well. And you can see how easily it cuts. You can see that I do run the knife over quite a few times. That's not because it's difficult to cut, it's because I'm using the knife really gently so that I don't drag the resin. So do quite a lot of strokes that are really gentle rather than one hard stroke. So what I'm doing now to measure my pieces is lining it up against the grid on my mat, my cutting mat. I very rarely use rulers to measure, I just use the cutting mat, and it makes sure you get everything really square. I managed to make 8 card fronts out of that piece of resin, so makes 8 cards very quickly. So there we have it. How easy was that? Really easy. And you don't just make cards out of these things that you cut out, you can make boxes, bookmarks. I suppose, you know, the world's your oyster because you can just cut it. You can probably use scissors as well. Try scissors. I'm sure you can cut curvy lines out with your scissors. You can cut curvy lines out with your craft knife for that matter. So I'd love to, if you make anything with this technique, please show me. And I haven't seen this done anywhere else, so let me know if you've seen it done somewhere else, because I'm interested. And so let me show you how I quickly made my card. Let me get my bits. So here's one of the pieces that I cut out, and it's actually, do you see, it's still bendy. It's about 26 hours now since I poured it, and it will be fully cured in a couple of days. So really, before you make your cards, you should leave it perfectly flat after you've done the cutting. Leave it perfectly flat for a couple of days before you work with it, then you won't get fingerprints or anything like that on it. Okay, so I cut a black rectangle just a little bit bigger to stick behind it. Now the best way to stick it on, the most reliable way to stick it on is super glue. But the problem with super glue, it may be the most permanent and reliable way, but once you've stuck it down you can't reposition it. So, you know, you've got to get it perfect first time. I've also done it today I tried out different methods just to see which glues works best. I did it with PVA glue as well. That worked quite well. It takes longer to dry, obviously, but you can reposition it. If you don't get this, you know, perfectly central, you can reposition it. But the other thing I used was glue stick, simple glue stick, and that's really worked. But it's one of those things you don't know until you leave it a little while and see if it stays on. So for absolute reliability, go with super glue, but mind your fingers, or you'll be walking around with a card stuck to your fingers. And so anyway, that's that. And then all you need to do is stick it onto a card base, which I made as well. I cut these to size I found the envelope I wanted to use before I cut these to size, so that I knew how big my card could be. Kind of working backwards, it's always a good idea. And some of them I put glitter on, and to do this all I did was double-sided tape and then sprinkled the glitter on, and it's great, nice and neat. So that's another way. You can jazz it up any way you like, but this wasn't really meant to be a card making tutorial. I just wanted to show you how easy it is to cut that resin. If you wait about, I would leave it 20 hours, check it. Like I said in my last video, if it's smooth and not sticky when you touch it, it should be alright. But if it's sticky, don't demold it. I'm going to leave a link to the Swiss roll mould and the resin and anything else that I can think of that I used in the description. And yeah, that's that. Please like this and please leave a comment, tell me what you think. And if you want to see what's coming next, please subscribe. Bye for now.